Okay, so for this week's guitar lesson, we have a standalone blues that you can play by yourself. You don't need a jam track or another musician to accompany you. And these are always super popular for that reason. It's just less hassle when you can just grab a guitar. It works on an acoustic or electric guitar, standard tuning. But I think they're more rewarding because you're not just practicing a scale or just going through some kind of finger drill. You're actually working towards the song, so you have a goal to work towards. It makes it a little more fun, and plus you're hearing it all in context. So what makes this very cool is it utilizes one scale, and it's our favorite scale as guitar players, the minor pentatonic scale. At least blues guitar players. We love this minor pentatonic scale because it's so prominent in blues guitar. And so we're going to be playing in the key of G. Our three chords are going to be G, C, and D, but we're really only going to be playing the G minor pentatonic scale in one position. We're going to be in pattern 1 or position 1 for most all of it. And I say most because there's one exception, and that's what makes this lesson even cooler in my opinion. It gives you a nice little takeaway. This is a technique I hear a lot in blues, and that's when you come to the 5 chord. So when we come to our D7 chord, instead of just staying in the minor pentatonic scale for the key of the song, which would be that G minor pentatonic, we're going to switch and play the D minor pentatonic scale to match that D chord when that comes. Now I'll explain more about that as we get into it. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of set this up. So I've got the lesson split into 2 parts. In this video, we're going to go through the first half. If you'd like to join us for part 2, where we stay in the key of G, but we move up into different positions on the fretboard, some different licks, really designed to help you better understand the cage system and different chord voicings. If you'd like to join us for part 2 and get the tablature for both parts, and also access the on-screen tab viewer, which is interactive, you can get all of those extra materials for this lesson by going to activemelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page, and search for EP586. Okay, so we're going to be in the key of G. Our 3 chords are going to be G, C7, and D7. Now our G chord is going to be in this position, so that's our G chord using the E shape. If you don't like playing bar chords, don't worry, because we're not going to be playing bar chords. I'm just showing you the chord shape that we're going to be playing out of. So that's our E shape G chord. You make your C chord for the 4, and then add your pinky to the 3rd fret, 3rd string. To get that C7 sound, slide that up 2 frets, and now you've got your D7. Those are the chords we're going to touch on in different points in this, but most of it is really driven by the lead. So let's listen to the first part, and it starts off by me playing the 5 chord. That's a common way to start a blues. If you're not sure how to start it, just start with the 5 chord, and that sets it up. So let's listen to that, and we'll talk about what's going on. All right, so all these notes we're going to be playing come out of this one scale, one position of that scale. That's your G minor pentatonic scale, and you can connect that scale to your E shape. G chord, that minor pentatonic scale. Just marry those two in your mind. Okay, so this first lick, I'm sliding with my ring finger to the 5th fret, 4th string. Then we're going to walk it down to the 3rd fret, down to the 5th fret, 5th string. And notice I'm using my ring finger for that so that I can go and follow up with that D7 chord. That's the 5 chord. So that's the first little setup. Okay, so this next lick goes. So let's look at that. That's all in the G minor pentatonic scale, pattern 1. We're going to start by barring the first 2 strings on the 3rd fret. We're going to play the 2nd string and then up to the 1st string. Now we're going to walk down the scale. So 6th fret, 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Now we're going to come down to the 5th fret, 3rd string, do a full bend, and then play that same note that we bent to, which is the 3rd fret, 2nd string. So let's take it from the start of that lick. It's now after that, we're going to do a bend on the 5th fret, 3rd string, play the note without the bend, and then we're going to go 3rd fret, 5th fret, 4th string. So it's like, now I like to learn licks like this in pieces. So there's the first piece, here's the second piece. And then here's the next piece. Okay, so this is strings 2 and 3 on the 5th fret, and then we're going to come down to the 3rd fret 3rd string, 5th fret 4th string, which is our G note, and then that low G note. And I come down and hit that with my index finger, 3rd fret 6th string. So it's like, that's the lick. So let's put all that together. So we have from the start, stop. All right, now that's a great little lick. If you learn nothing else, it's a great little blues lick, you know, played in that pattern 1 of your minor pentatonic scale. All right, so the next phrase goes. We're back to that 5 chord, back to the D7. So it starts here on the 5th fret 3rd string. We're going to do 2 full bends, and then 5th fret 3rd string without the bend. And then we're coming down to the 3rd fret, back to the 5th, back to the 3rd, 5th fret 4th string. So it's. And then watch this walk down here. We're going to hit strings 2 and 3 on the 3rd fret. And then watch this. So that's right down minor pentatonic scale pattern 1. Then we're going to go 5, 3, 5th fret, 5th string. And notice I'm using my ring finger for that so that I can go and play the D7 chord to follow that up. So it goes like this. Okay, so now we're ready to get into the song. Now we're ready to go to the G chord, to the 1 chord. And this is what I played. That's the first like little call, and then the response to that is a little chord. So it starts with a lead, and then you go to the chord. So now this first lick is just playing strings 1 and 2 out of the top part of your minor pentatonic scale pattern 1, out of these notes. Right, 6th fret to the 3rd fret on the 1st and 2nd string. So we're going to start by barring strings 1 and 2 on the 3rd fret and slide into that. It's an Albert King kind of lick. And then we'll come up to that 6th fret 1st string, push it slightly sharp. Those little nuances are what make the blues. And then we come back to the 3rd fret and play 1 and 2, strings 1 and 2. So let's put that together. And then we're going to come down to the 6th fret 2nd string and push that one slightly sharp. And then come to that 3rd fret 1st string. All together. Right? That's the first lick, the first call. And then the response to that is this. Now notice I'm not playing a full bar chord. All I'm playing is the top 4 strings out of that chord. So that's where you bar the first 2 strings there on the 3rd fret, 4th fret 3rd string, 5th fret 4th string. That's easy to do. You can do that. And what I like about this is it's got the G here and it's got the G here. So you've got a full octave of Gs, and I can do this and do that little hammer on. And when I do the hammer on, I'm actually barring the first 3 strings, I guess, on that 3rd fret. But that hammer on, I do that every time I hit the G chord. It's like. The other thing you're going to hear me do, which I'll call out in a minute, is I'll come to this. So I'll come up here and bar the first 3 strings, the first 4 strings really, on the 5th fret, but I'm going to play strings 4, 3, and 2. And what that is that's part of my C chord using the A shape, which is the 4 chord. And this is how you need to remember this. If you're hanging out on a chord for a while, you can do that little hammer on. But you can also go to its 4 chord. which it looks like that. That's why it's so awesome to do that out of this E shape, because they're right on top of each other. 1, 4, 1, 4. Look at my ring finger. It doesn't even move. It stays locked. And so I can pivot that. So that's a gospel move. That's how I always think of it. It's like a gospel piano move. Here's the 1 chord. I can do that same thing for the C chord. Go to its 4 chord, which would be an F, right? So yeah, don't worry about like, is the chord in the key of the song. It doesn't work like that. It's just the 4 chord of the chord you're on. And if you're using this E shape, you can always just rock your hand to get to it. Okay, so backing up, we have the call and then the response, which is the G chord with the hammer on. Now watch this. This is the next call. There's another great little blues lick. I want you to walk away with all these minor pentatonic scale licks that you can incorporate into any blues. So we're going to bar that again. First 2 strings on the 3rd fret, starting with the 2nd string, 1st string, 6th fret, 2nd string, and then back to the 3rd fret, 2nd string. So yeah, first little part is. Now watch this. We're going to come down to the 5th fret, 3rd string. We're going to do a bend, a full bend, and then hit the 3rd fret 2nd string, which is that same note you bent to. It's like, and then we're going to do it again. Play the note without the bend, 5th fret 3rd string. And then that final note is the 3rd fret 3rd string. So let's look at that whole phrase then. It's like this. Let's do it again. Really cool blues. Now after that call, we're going to do another response, which we just talked about, right? So that's my G. There's its 4 chord. And then back to the G with the hammer on. So notice when I played that, I did an upstroke. I didn't downstroke it. I like the kind of little quick burst. It was really almost just strings 1 and 2. That's all I'm hitting for that. Now we're going to come back and repeat ourselves. There's a lot of repetition here. We're going to hit, do the bar on the 3rd fret and play string 2, 1, 2, but we're going to slide into it. Now we're going to come to the 6th fret 1st string, and then back to the 3rd fret 1st string. Now watch this. So that's walking right down, minor pentatonic scale pattern 1. That's 6, 3 on the 2nd string, and then down to the 3rd string and play. It's a full bend on the 5th fret 3rd string, and then we're going to play the 5th fret 3rd string without the bend. That's very important to land on this note, because that's the point where the song goes to the 4 chord. That would be exactly where the 4 chord would land. And look at the note I'm playing. Yes, it's in my minor pentatonic scale for the key of G and all of that, but that note happens to be my C note. The C is your 4 chord. So you can kind of remember this. This is a great little takeaway, and something I use all the time when I'm improvising in the blues, especially using pentatonics. When it comes to the 4 chord, that's an awesome note to land on, because that is the note name of your 4 chord. So you could bend before it, or you could do whatever you want before it. As long as you resolve to that note, it's going to fit perfectly where the 4 chord is. So there was actually another little part to that lick. So it's like, so I just came down and played that. Still minor pentatonic scale for the key of the song. 3rd fret 3rd string, 5th fret 4th string. I hit that twice. So there's where the C chord happens. And And then I came down and went and played the C chord. It's actually a C7. Just play your C chord, add your pinky to the 3rd fret, 3rd string. So then this next lick, we're still staying in the key of the song, but I come back to the 5th fret, 3rd string, do those bends again, 2 full bends on that 5th fret, 3rd string, 5th fret, 3rd string without the bend, and then, so it's 3, 5, 3 on the 3rd string, 5th fret, 4th string, and then we go to the 3rd fret, 3rd string. Notice that slight little push towards the major 3rd. Because that's where the song would go back to the 1 chord. You can hear it. If you just go back and you just listen to the intro, you can tell where the chords are without the chords being there, without a bass player, without somebody, even without a drum or anything. You can tell when the song is switching to the chord. So by pushing, like hinting towards that major 3rd, even though we're still kind of not quite there, I didn't fully commit to it, it's sort of letting the listener's ear know that that's where, okay, you're back to the 1 chord. And then I followed that up with that same little move where I do the upstroke, play the 4 chord of my G, and then back to that little hammer-on. All right, so now is where the song goes to the 5 chord, which is our D7, and we're going to break out of the G minor pentatonic scale and play the D minor pentatonic scale just for this moment in the song. It makes a big difference, and you can hear the change. It's a nice sort of welcome change, actually, to break out of the monotony of the G minor pentatonic scale. I could just stay in the G minor pentatonic scale if I wanted, but check this out. Hear that? I mean, you can hear. I went into that D minor pentatonic scale. So let's look at how that happens. So it starts with G minor pentatonic scale. We're going to do our same bar here on the 3rd fret, string 2, 1, and then back to 2. And a little half bend here on the 6th fret, 2nd string. And then we come to the 3rd fret, 1st string. So now here's where we're going to switch. Watch this. Now this is all going to make perfect sense once you get it. So we're going to go with our index finger from this 3rd fret. We're going to move it up. We're going to switch our hand position up to here. So now it's on the 5th fret, 1st string. We're going to come all the way up to the 8th fret, 1st string. Do a hammer-on pull-off between the 5th fret and the 8th fret. 8th fret, 2nd string. 6th fret, 2nd string. And then 7th fret, 3rd string. Now what just happened there? Well, when we switched hand position, we went into D minor pentatonic scale pattern 4, which would be, you can marry this to your A shape. So this was all covered in the Cage system. In fact, under the A shape, you'll see this. I'll put a lesson up on the screen if you want to do a deep dive into this shape and all the things that are connected to it. But one of those things was the minor pentatonic scale position, which is it's right there off of this A shape. So that's this lick when I played. I just went right into D minor pentatonic scale pattern 4. And so why did I choose that one? It was, I don't know, it was nearby. I always look for something nearby, and I was already here. So, I just slid up one. I could have went into pattern 3. That would have worked as well. Either one of those would work, but hopefully you get the point. It's going into the pentatonic scale of your 5 chord. So after that D minor pentatonic scale lick, I came down and hit my D7 chord using the C7 shape. It's the same as your C7, slide it up 2 frets. But then watch this. I just walked it right down, just like the band would do if a band was playing. And then after that walk down, I went right back into G minor pentatonic scale pattern 1. So it's a slide with my ring finger from the 3rd fret up to the 5th fret on the 4th string. And then we go 3rd fret, 3rd string, up to the 5th fret, 3rd string. Little half bend here. Back to the 5th fret without the bend. And then we're going to walk it down. 5, 3, and then 5th fret, 4th string. That last note is the 3rd fret, 3rd string, which I push slightly sharp. And then after that, back to my hammer on to the 1, its 4 chord, and then back to that 1 chord, that same little lick. Now, that's where we're going to end part 1. In part 2, we're going to continue those same 3 chords, but we're going to move up into the D shape, and we're going to, at least for the 1 chord, and we're going to, add some more elements in different voicings. But same 3 chords, same structure of the song. So come join us for part 2 where we'll go over the rest of that. I hope you've enjoyed something in this part 1. If you have any questions, leave a question below. I always read them and I try and answer them all. Or if you've got a comment, maybe you've had a breakthrough, maybe there was something super obvious in this that you hadn't thought about, or maybe something you just never experienced before. But if you have any kind of breakthrough or anything you'd like to share, I'd appreciate if you do that. I like to read the comments. It gives me just motivation seeing that stuff. So we'll see you in the part 2 video where we'll go over the rest of this.